The story behind the 65-day flight and how it lasted so long is very interesting. A new family hotel, Hacienda Hotel, was opened in Las Vegas. The owner wanted to advertise his hotel and attract people there. At that time, one of the hotel employees came up with a very interesting proposal to advertise the hotel, to fly on a plane with the name of the hotel on it. Everything actually started in 1958 with the opening of the Hacienda Hotel. The owner of the hotel wanted to attract tourists from other states and even countries to his hotel, so some publicity was needed. World War II bomber pilot and slot machine repairman Robert Tim came up with an interesting idea. Tim's idea was to write the name of the hotel on the plane and break the record for the longest manned flight with this plane. The previous record was 47 days, and they had to break that record. Tim convinced the hotel owner to finance his project and received $100,000 to organize the idea. The most important part of the project was choosing the right aircraft for the job. The aircraft used to break the world record had to be very easy to fly, low fuel consumption, and mechanically very reliable to reduce the risk of refueling each time in the air. For this reason, Tim's choice was the Cessna 172, which was quite new at that time. Modifications to the aircraft included a sleeping mattress, a small steel washer for personal hygiene, the removal of most of the internal equipment to save weight, and a rudimentary autopilot. Do not think that they broke the record at once. They tried for times to break the record in the previous 3 attempts. The problem was that the plane broke down. The longest of the 3 attempts lasted 17 days. Interestingly, when Tim made his 3rd attempt, the 47-day record was beaten by another team by 50 days plus a few hours. Despite this news, Tim did not give up. While modifying the plane, he knew he needed a co-pilot with as much experience as himself. John Cook, an experienced aircraft mechanic, was named the new co-pilot. When all was said and done, the plane took off on December 4, 1958 at 3:52 p.m. Today, most modern military aircraft are capable of safe in-flight refueling, but such technology did not exist at the time, and the Cessna 172 could not climb to high altitudes. Until now, there have been a number of experiments with mid-air refueling, but there was no way to refuel the Cessna 172 in mid-air. As a result, they installed an additional tank that can be refueled from the car on the ground. When it was necessary to refuel, the plane flew very low. The hose was raised and the fuel was injected. Sometimes they had to do it at night, which required some precision flying. They painted the wheels of the plane white to prove to everyone that they would never land. If they fell for any reason, the paint would wash away and everyone would know the attempt had failed. As for food, when the crew refueled at the California-Arizona border, they bought crushed food to fit in thermos bottles from Hacienda restaurants. They defecate in a folding camp toilet, and the bags are left in the wilderness. Although the incessant engine noise and aerodynamic vibration made a restful night impossible, both pilots took turns sleeping. As a result of insomnia, on the 36th day, Tim fell asleep during the flight, and the plane flew on its own for more than an hour, at an altitude of 1,200. On the 39th day, the electric pump that sent fuel to the plane's tanks malfunctioned, and they were forced to take off manually. When the record was finally broken on the 23rd of January 1959, other technical faults included the cabin heater, fuel gauge, and landing lights. During the 65 days in the air, many different things broke on the plane, but the most important thing was that the engine kept running. What they needed most was to keep the engine running, especially after the 50th day. Although they managed to break the record by 50 days, they did not want anyone to break the record and flew another 15 days before landing at McCarran on February 7, 1959. The used aircraft can be seen today on the roof of the baggage claim area at McCarran Airport. It should also be noted that this record has not been updated since that day.